Good morning from on-site at the AIDS 2024, which is taking place in Munich. And we are really honored to have with us Michelle Warren, Executive Director of AVAC. Welcome, Michelle. And firstly, sincere thanks to you and AVAC from the entire CNS team for helping us understand HIV prevention research and advocacy agendas as they have unfolded over the years. And let's begin with what's really hot at the moment, which you must have been attending all along, the lenacapavir and its access. And last month when we got to know of the results, and it was through AVAC only that I first heard of this study, we were so hopeful that a really long-acting HIV prevention medicine can give 100% protection to girls and women as shown in the study. But will it be accessible, especially to women and girls and communities in low and middle income countries? 100% accessible?
You know, it is so wonderful to see a product do so well in clinical trials. But we have to remember, too, that this is not the first time we've seen an amazing prevention product. Lenacapavir is terrific, and the Purpose 1 results are hugely exciting. But we've had other great successes, and certainly injectable cabotegravir, oral PrEP, condoms going way back, the dapivirine vaginal ring. What we know is products work when you take them. With injectables, you get pretty great sense of their ability to overcome issues like adherence, taking a pill every day, using a condom every time you have sex. So that's the good news. But products don't deliver themselves. And the work ahead, frankly, as hard as product development is, as important and as hard as the phase 3 clinical trials are, delivering it and translating efficacy from a clinical trial into effectiveness in people's lives is far, far harder. And there are a number of things that need to happen over the next couple of years. And I hope in an AIDS conference in the years to come, we'll be able to report progress much faster and much larger than what we've seen in any of the past prevention introduction efforts.
Yes. And then the shocking news that the price for the news which we are hearing, price for one person for the 2 injectables will be more than $42,000. Is that correct? And but what an irony when science has gifted us a prevention product that is 100% effective, and it seems that at the moment that 0% of the most in need will actually get it.
Well, that price that is listed is not related to PrEP. We don't know what lenacapavir for PrEP will cost.
Okay.
Right now, it's approved in the United States and a few other high-income countries for a very narrow treatment indication. So the market, the volume of production is very, very low. We expect that if, and again, this product is still investigational. There's the other study, Purpose 2, and other populations. We expect if that is positive, it could be going to regulatory agencies around the world early next year. We could get an approval or a series of approvals, and WHO perhaps making recommendations, hopefully by this time next year. My great hope is that the price is much lower. I think what we need to really focus on is how we get the price down as quickly as possible. And if you look at antiretrovirals, historically, they come down in price when volume goes up and when multiple generic manufacturers are competing for the market to sell to ministries of health, to sell to PEPFAR, to sell to Global Fund. And so while we do need to push Gilead, because they've said that they're working toward voluntary licenses so that there are multiple generics, we have to work with the product, if it's approved, from Gilead. And I hope that the price is much lower. And we don't know what will happen with Gilead and PrEP. But if you look at cabotegravir, made by ViiV, what we know is that it is in the US and more than $20,000 a year. But ViiV sells it in low and middle income countries for about $180 a year. So I look at this and I hope, but we know for cost effectiveness reasons, governments are probably going to need to see this product, or cabotegravir or lenacapavir, closer to $40 a year for protection. And that is probably not going to happen from Gilead. It won't happen from Gilead alone because that's not how they function. we need to get it to generics very quickly. But we need to take whatever product the donors and governments can buy from Gilead. Hopefully, it will be lower than cabotegravir at $180. Hopefully, it'll be much closer to $100 a year initially, and then we need to see volumes grow so the price comes down. And I'd like to think that in 3 to 5 years, we will actually see, as we did with antiretroviral orally, TDF-FTC, the drug used for PrEP now, is $40 a year, more or less, in low and middle income countries. But 20 years ago, it was over $500 a year. Volumes were low, and there was only one manufacturer. Now, tens of millions of people get it, and there are over 15 companies that make it. That's how we get price down.
So that $42,000 something which is being quoted right now, that is the price of the existing lenacapavir as an oral pill, which is
No, that $42,000 is the U.S. list price, is how it's called, for treatment as an injectable in the United States. There is an oral, and this is true for PrEP as well. You take a couple of tablets at the beginning, and then you start getting injections every 6 months. But that is the price for a treatment for the very, the very specific group who can benefit from treatment. In the U.S., we have a crazy healthcare system in the United States. Obviously, very high quality for some people, but very unequal and inequitable. And that $42,000 is a price that then gets negotiated by the government and insurance companies, and it is an outrageous price. And we need to see a real price for what this product's going to cost to deliver.
Yes, and I was coming to that, and in fact, Vinny also mentioned yesterday or day before that about the inequity which exists not only in the middle-income countries, but I think even a country like US, there is a lot of inequity, and is that product or whatever is available is accessible to them. That is
Well, it's interesting. We talk a lot about inequities, and there's definitely inequities between income categories.
Yes.
But in every country I know of, there are inequities within the country. If you look at the United States, which has had now oral PrEP since 2012, so 12 years of oral PrEP, and it is having an impact for typically white, older, gay men and other men who have sex with men, often in the northern part of the United States. Black and brown young men, particularly in the South, women who may be at risk of HIV, inequitably get access to it for a whole number of reasons. It's a structural issue. Many of the programs are focused on gay men and other men who have sex with men, and many women in the United States don't think that they need PrEP or know how to access PrEP. So we have inequities everywhere. And I think one of the things that I'm continually struck by is that with every innovation in biomedicine, we tend to see it exacerbating inequity. So if you look not just in HIV, look at the COVID vaccine. Who got COVID vaccines? It was inequitably done. And what you see very often is that biomedical products really shine bright lights on inequity. We do not need any more examples of inequity. We need to flip the script. We need, with lenacapavir and with other prevention products, we need to do prevention differently. And we need to show that as a global community, we can go beyond inequity when you launch a new product, not just exacerbate it.
And you are so right, Michelle, because we are so inspired by what you say. Every time I hear you, I get inspired. This historically it has been seen. New product on which we lay so much of hope comes in the market, science delivers it. And then starts the battle and the efforts to make it accessible. Shouldn't there be some sort of a roadmap so that you have said that often also, that that time gap between scientific product coming in and translating into a public health gain, that should be reduced. So shouldn't there be some sort of a roadmap to follow so we don't repeat the mistakes every time?
You're absolutely right. I often say history may not repeat itself, but it rhymes a lot. And I'm tired of that. We have to change things. The good news is there is a roadmap. And we do know that we need to do things differently. And if you do look at oral PrEP compared to, say, injectable cabotegravir, the world still went too slow. But it did go a little faster with regulatory approvals. It went a little faster with programs. Not fast enough, but faster. To me, that helped show that instead of taking 12 years, we need to do it in 5. And now I hope with lenacapavir, we do it even faster. And there is the beginnings of a roadmap that we have actually on the AVAC website called The Lens on Len.
Yes.
And it really looks at being very practical of what needs to happen. And I think one of the things that's most important is, just as there's no one product, there's no one thing that's going to make this product accessible. It's multifactorial. So just like we need condoms and dapivirine vaginal ring and cabotegravir and lenacapavir, we also need to recognize this is not just about voluntary licenses. It's not just about generic manufacturers. It's not just about a government deciding to introduce it. It's all of those things. And the roadmap is there that says over the next 3 years, there need to be licenses and technology development at the generics so that they get to market. We need to simultaneously invest in big programs so that there's a market for this product, so that the generics will be interested in making the product at high volume and low prices. We need to make sure WHO guidelines are done. We need to make sure that countries are ready to adapt those guidelines every step of the way. And we have to hold everybody to account. Gilead for sure, because they developed it, and that's about pricing and manufacturing. But we need to hold PEPFAR accountable, and Global Fund, and national governments. We need to hold civil society accountable as well to make sure that we stay focused on that roadmap. Roadmap gives you the destination.
Yes.
And it actually tells you how to get there. But it doesn't guarantee that you drive well. And it doesn't address barriers in the road every so often. Maybe there's a pothole. Maybe there's an accident. So we need to be ready to continue to navigate to that destination.
And rightly so, because see, we are hoping for an HIV vaccine. We are hoping for obviously better prevention options suited to different people's needs. But the existing ones which we have, we are not able to deliver that also. You've taken the example of PrEP. PrEP in India is not in the program at all. Dapivirine ring, where how many women even know about it in many parts of the world. So, and my favorite subject, why forget the female condom? It is, and when it gives triple benefit, and
Absolutely.
Still, in India, women, I ask some of them, they say, does it exist? And I'm talking of cities and educated women, because it has not been in the program, and there has been no drive, at least in many countries, to make it popular and to make it available.
Well, that really gets us back to the roadmap. One of the most critical parts of the roadmap actually has to be to create demand.
Yes.
And very often we set up these individual small projects. Condom program here, PrEP program there, now a ring project there, a cabotegravir there. We need to be comprehensive in how we think about it. And also we need to know that people often don't know about individual products. They also don't know that maybe they're at risk or that they might consider how to prevent. So we have, people say we have to make PrEP famous or make cabotegravir famous or lenacapavir famous. I would argue we have to make prevention famous, including condoms and everything that's come since. Now, none of the products that we've had disappear because of the lenacapavir results.
Yes.
Lenacapavir results are astounding. They're remarkable. They're exciting. And they don't replace anything else that's been developed. And even if we are lucky enough in the years and years ahead to get a vaccine, it won't necessarily replace things. It will be an added benefit, and we will see, if we get a vaccine, what the epidemiology is like, where we need to focus it. So there's a great need to think about how we deliver the range of products, the biomedical options that get developed. How do we make those real choices for people? And how do we help people navigate those choices? It's complicated. It's messy because it's people's lives. It's about sex and pleasure. We have to talk about these things, and it's not about the product. One of the things, people are always looking for a product to fix things. Well, oral PrEP is great. It didn't replace condoms. As you say, female condoms and male condoms, triple protection. We don't prevent STIs or an unintended pregnancy with PrEP. So we have to think about how we communicate all of this. There is no single product that's going to sort everything out. I often say 1 is the worst number in HIV because there is no one thing, no one product, no one approach, no one stakeholder. It's about how do we put together the most number of options, imperfect though each one is, including lenacapavir, 0 infections, 100% protection. It's phenomenal. It's an injectable. It has to be in the health system. It's in the abdomen. Not everyone's going to feel comfortable with that. So this product is not magic. It is just a product, and we don't know its price. So we have to stay focused on larger prevention programming, not just a product.
Right. And I hope the purpose to study would let us hope that it will bring it into the market, because
Indeed.
there is some question mark there also as of
Absolutely.
now. There is some question mark. And talking of the female condom, Michelle, I'm reminded 22 years ago there was a study in Pune in India on this. And one of the study participants asked CNS, when will I get this product? And she has not got it till today. Means most women, they have not got
That's
it
right.
till today. So that is the question. And even those who are taking part in the study, and I may be wrong here, Michelle, but somehow the word trial, I always try to replace it with the word study, because the word trial gives me the feeling it's a courtroom trial or something.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's funny. In a sense, it is a trial. It's seeing if something works or not. So
Yes.
guilty, not guilty.
Yes.
But this study is spectacular. But
Yes.
clinical trials don't prevent infections.
Yes, yes.
Clinical trials don't end epidemics.
No, right.
And we have to make sure that we translate this remarkable efficacy, along with the efficacy seen of other products, into people's lives. Because at the end of the day, if we repeat what you exactly described 22 years ago with respect to the female condom, what we have done is created a biomedical option that never became a choice, that didn't prevent enough infections. And I frankly feel that we have spent decades now in HIV prevention failing too often, and we need to change things, and we need to work with a speed much faster, a scale much larger, and equity so that everybody can benefit who needs it. So it's speed, scale, and equity. That's what we need for delivering impact. The products help, but only if we do speed, scale, and equity.
Right. And the product does not sit on the shelf,
Exactly.
as you have said so many times, and as we believe so. So thank you, Michelle, for your deep insights. And somehow speaking to you, I'm reminded of my Loreto school hymn. I studied in Loreto. It's run by Irish nuns, a group of Irish nuns. And that hymn we would sing on our Independence Day celebrations in India. And one verse said, as we face the future bright, trustfully we pray for light, for our leaders that they may guide us wisely on our way. So let us pray and work towards a world where all people, and not just some of them, are put first, and the best of available healthcare becomes accessible to all.
I love that hymn, and it's could not be more accurate for what we need to do.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Michelle, for this.
Thank you.
Thank you.